What is up, Fanatics? It's 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means another episode of Home Theater Fanatics Live. Tonight, I'm going to be telling you a story. I went on a journey. I went on a voyage. I went on a a trope around the world, a walkabout for enlightenment in sound. Yeah, I know that's a lot, right? This past weekend, I took a flight down to San Antonio. And while I was there, Hi Fi Haven, hey man, what's up? Yeah, I know, check it out. There he is. See, look at that. Look how cool that is. I changed up the stuff there. You like that? Um, I took a trip down to San Antonio, and I met up with a buddy of mine named Mops, and he runs a company called Quarter Note Acoustics. And uh, I think I'm live on Instagram. Yes, I can see myself live on Instagram. He is quite active on Instagram, so everybody go follow Quarter Note Acoustics there. And he invited me down to see some speakers. Right, so he is the importer of a line of speakers from a company called uh, uh, Sonar Audio or Sonor Audio. I want to call it Sonar so bad. I just want to call it Sonar every time. Sonor Audio, Sonor Audio. And you can go Google those folks and check it out. I don't think they have an Instagram presence. I looked and I didn't find anything that looked like them there. But I had opportunity to check these speakers out. And I actually had to go to a handful of different locations to see almost all of the models. And yeah, Hi-Fi Haven, they are absolutely gorgeous. They are very, 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 very pretty. If you want to see them, you can go to either my Instagram channel or my YouTube channel, and I've released videos, the same video in both locations that kind of chronicled the trip to see them and the time that I spent with Mops and the Sonar Audio speakers. And I wanted to talk a little bit about them today because I think it's interesting from the point of view of that this is kind of like a microcosm of the audio industry, right? And it's kind of fun to watch a company, a smaller company. They're not big. I would hazard to guess that most people listening have never heard of Sonar Audio before, right? And we have a handful of folks spread across our platforms, and I'm sure most of them are like, I never heard of those guys. And the challenges of bringing these kind of speakers to market. So at a high level, I think I can share my screen here. Let me share screen. Let's do a Chrome tab and Sonar Audio Home share, and then bring it in. Okay. So just a quick overview of what we got going on here. So they have floor standers, and so they have a standard kind of look about them, right? So they're the box, right, the feet, and then a front plate with the speakers mounted in that front plate. And this might remind you a bit of Dynaudio speakers from the look. And I that's one of the things that made me think of. And now these guys have been around for a while. I don't know exactly when they started, but they haven't just started now. They've gone through a number of iterations on their speakers, and this is the ones they have now, the Claros. So the way that their nomenclature works is you take the largest driver in the speaker, and then the number of that large driver makes the name. So 8.2 means it has two 8-inch drivers. A Claro 6.2 has two 6 inches, 6.1, 1 6-inch, so on and so forth, all the way up to the Claro 10.2, which is huge. I saw these and listened to them. They were great. They've got two 10s, and they're about 6 feet tall. So they're not for the faint of heart. And it looks like they sit on plinths rather than spikes or anything, because they have to weigh 600 pounds each or something. I mean, just a crazy amount of weight. They are absolutely huge. And you can kind of see here on the right hand side. Maybe I can make this super big. Well, I think that's good enough. Everybody wants to see me. But on the right hand side, you can see the guts of it, and there's a lot of MDF inside of these boxes. And yeah, so they're super duper heavy, but they sound great. But so kind of back to what I was talking about before, this is really a a interesting study in both business and hi-fi, right? So hi-fi from the point of view of, they sound awesome. They sound really good. Punk says, hopped over here from Insta. Hey, Giles. Oh, hi, Jiles. You turned me French, man. Um, uh, and yeah, anybody that's on Insta, please come over and subscribe on on YouTube. I need a lot of subscribers on YouTube. I'm doing pretty well on Instagram, not as well on YouTube. Uh, but so, going back again to the topic, right? Uh, it's interesting to watch as this company brings their products to market in the US and then also tries to grow the market share, and everything that they go through. And hey, look, we've got quarter note acoustics here. Too bad you're not on the show with me, so you could talk about this stuff too, man. Because we're talking all about your business right now. Um, so Mops Quarter Note Acoustics is the importer of the speakers, and it's interesting to watch the process by which a brand is brought to the U.S. It's cultivated, right, and how you put that out there. And there are a number of different companies that are doing this kind of thing, and let me tell you, it's not easy, right? Um, People have their own brand preference, and from a speaker point of view, sometimes it's really hard to break through that brand preference and bring something new to them. Obviously people will listen with their ears, right? But it becomes difficult if there's a brand that doesn't have a either a large penetration of dealers, meaning that you can go listen to them somewhere close to you, or they have some type of B2C online sales process that's pretty straightforward and allows them to buy and return and that kind of thing. And when you get to the price point of uh you know equipment at this level, it kind of becomes non-feasible to mail out 2,000 pounds of speakers or something to someone just so they can test them out, right? I mean, that shipping on that's kind of crazy, right? And they sound great, but man, that's not something you really want to take on from a guaranteed 30-day return point of view. So how do you go from 0 to 100 and get the brand out there? So what I would say is, everyone, keep your eye on the brand, and you can kind of watch the story develop as Sonor Audio is brought to the masses. And I would guess that at some point Sonor will be at some of the shows and showing stuff off and that kind of thing. I think that would be absolutely wonderful. And maybe as a dealer in network grows, that you can find them at more locations. And if anybody out there knows dealers that are looking for a line of speakers on the higher end, not super crazy high end, we're not talking about $200,000 speakers, but we're talking about stuff in the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, 15 or 16 or 17, I think, for the big ones. I forget the exact price on them. But if you do know anyone that's interested in picking up another brand, feel free to reach out to me, and I can get everybody in contact to get that stuff done. And and that kind of brings me around to the idea of what's the right role for people like me to play in bringing these kind of brands to market, right? How can we help the process? And maybe it's just as simple as making people aware that the brand is out there, right? Everybody will form their own opinions about whether they like the sound or not. I know I formed my own opinion, and it was a very positive one, especially in the home theater that was featuring the 8.2s, I guess it was. It sounded really great. Really great separation of all the equipment from a surround perspective. It was really good. Yeah. So Punk Floyd Four Eyes, I agree. I think that a big chunk of that is just really making them known, right? And because when you get down to the review part of it, ultimately, I've watched a lot of different people do reviews, and I've done this stuff in the past myself. And to a certain extent, you can talk about what speakers do, and then things get very subjective, which is fine. And I'm all about doing a subjective review, but maybe the important piece is just really starting a conversation with folks, right? So that people understand, hey, man, this stuff's out there, and let's go check it out. And maybe they're going to be at this show, or they're at some dealer, or maybe they maybe they rent a big truck and drive around the country and have the Sonor Audio road show. I've seen companies do that kind of stuff before, and it's kind of cool. So anyway, the purpose of the show really was to talk about the trip there and my experience, and I think I'll dive into that a little bit more now. So I started out, and actually at Mop's home, he has 4 sets of these set up. Man, I'm whether they want me or not, I'm ambassadoring right now for them. But should I be paid for this? Oh my God, what am I doing? All this stuff for free. And let me see if I can remember. I'm not sure I can remember the exact specifics, but in the living room, there were the 10.2s, the 6-foot tall ones, and they were absolutely bananas, right? They were super cool. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of those. That's these guys right here. I mean, and if that picture, the one in the middle there, if I were standing beside it, it's as tall as me, right? And that's pretty big. Then I believe it was the Claro 6.1. These guys, I believe, were the bookshelves. No, that's the floor stander. Where's the bookshelf 6.1? There's a bookshelf. Oh, stand mount. There we go. 6.1. Yeah, so that one I heard, those were great. Well, they're all great, right? And they use a very interesting tweeter that I'm not very very familiar with. It's like a ring something tweeter, and a ring radiator tweeter. And obviously it's not a new crazy technology, but it's something that I haven't seen around very much. Usually you'll see either a dome of some kind of material, or an AMT or a ribbon or something like that. But this is something a little bit different. It's a ring radiator tweeter that's sitting in a Tractrix horn, or as Mops likes to say, trick track tron churn churn horn. It's a tongue twister. Then so that was the second system, and then in the theater, I believe it was the Claro 8.2 gear, and they do make center channels for this stuff as well. And then in the upstairs room, they had, maybe it was 5 systems. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I guess. They have is it the 5.2? Yeah, the 5.2 with the side firing 10-inch sub. So this one's kind of cool because it's super narrow, but it's got a big sub. Now this isn't like a definitive technology speaker that's got a amplifier in the back for the subwoofer. This is all passive, so you feed this thing full range and give it enough juice to get the sub going. Now it says it only takes 180 watts for power handling, which most people will look at and say, well, that's kind of low. I don't know. And at 89 decibels sensitivity, some people will be like, I need to feed this thing 1,000 watts. Not really. It's plenty loud. Get a nice 150/2, and you're going to be totally happy. And then the last product, man, maybe it was the 6.2s I heard upstairs. Yeah, I think that was these guys. And then in the second location, oh man, it's starting to run together now. I think they had the 8.2s and another set that it's gone. I don't remember anymore. But I think amongst everything, I got to see most everything. But one thing that I really do like, and I think you can see it on your screen now, are these 6.2 floor standers, right? These are really cool because you could take this in a television environment at home and get 3 of them, put a left, right, and then a center, because they're all symmetrical, and use this as the center. Now they have dedicated center bills as well. I don't see them on the product list here, But they do exist because I saw it with my own eyes, especially the 8.2 center channel speaker. Let's pull this out. Okay, so he's trying to tell me stuff, but there's a little bit of a delay, so it's I can't pick out which thing was which. Okay, so Hi-Fi Haven says that Polk has used that kind of uh, tweeter before, so I'll have to go look and see what that looks like, because for me, I, I'm sure that I've seen and heard them before in the multitudes and multitudes of speakers that I've seen over time. But as far as recent history, it's like, oh man, that's kind of interesting. Anywho, that's the topic that I really wanted to cover off tonight. So, I'll have the links down below for all the information on Sonor Audio, so you guys can go check those folks out, and also for Quarter Note Acoustics. And if anyone is interested in joining that dealer channel or knows anybody that might be interested, reach out, and I can put everybody together for that. At this point, if anybody has any questions or anything else that they'd like to talk about tonight, we can fire that stuff up. And if not, then we can fire this thing down. Now, tonight at 9 Mountain Time, I'll be streaming again. You can find me. I'm starting a second stream on Tuesdays to talk about popular culture items. And that's going to be television and movies and all that kind of stuff. And I think the name of the channel is going to be Culture Cast. And I'm curious if anybody thinks that's good or bad, but right now, Culture Cast is the idea for the name. And to get started, we're going to be following along with House of the Dragon and discussing that on a weekly basis for the new episodes. We'll also talk about the new Tolkien Middle Earth stuff that'll be coming out here as well, and we'll figure out when to talk about that. And then we can mix this stuff up amongst episodes. It doesn't have to be about one specific thing, but talking about different stuff, because I love the home theater and the hi-fi and the gear and that kind of thing, but I really love the content as well. But I think it's better to have that separated out into a separate show for folks that are interested in that kind of stuff. So thanks, Hi-Fi Haven. I appreciate that. But that'll be streaming out here this evening. And the idea is that I'm going to make this a 30-minute show, and that will be likely about a 30-minute show as well. And I'm going to try and cross over everything into Instagram as well, and get everything out there. So I think that's going to end it up for the night. Thanks everybody for jumping on and having some fun here with us. If you guys have any topics that you'd like to have discussed on this, get those over, drop me a DM, and we can get those things scheduled. But other than that, thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next video.